We teach more with our eyebrows than with our lesson plans, more with our sighs than our strategies. Every day in care and education, we're delivering a hidden curriculum, one that isn't on a paper, but lives in our tone, our reactions, and our consistency. And here's the truth. People learn more from what we do than what we say. If you are caring for someone else, whether paid or unpaid, and no matter how many hours you do it, did you realise that you may be missing out on thousands of pounds of discounts for things that you may use every day? The Able to Care podcast is proud to be sponsored by the UK's #1 carers card. Started by two best friends who recognise that carers deserve better and are 100% committed to helping to change the lives of all carers and bringing them together as a strong community. Carers Card UK provides support, recognition and rewards. It offers reassurance by providing an ID card that helps access emergency information when needed, while also unlocking discounts, a wellbeing hub, a carers circle tool and a community through their app. All of this for less than the price of a box of chocolates a year. There are discounts on gym membership, days out, electrical goods, clothing and even glasses. Let others know you care while taking a little care of yourself with an ID card you can be proud of. Visit carerscarduk.co.uk/promo code/able to care today to order yours. Welcome to the Able to Care podcast. I'm your host, Andy Baker, and today we're welcoming one of the most powerful but often overlooked parts of behavioural support, the hidden curriculum. This is an area that I've had to learn so much about because sometimes we're very good at what we say, but it's the stuff that we teach without realising. How do we handle stress? How do we set boundaries? How do we respond when somebody messes up? Whether you're in a classroom, a care home, or your own kitchen, you're teaching constantly, not just maths, not just rules, but emotional regulation, empathy, identity, how people can engage and connect with you and vice versa, how they can connect with others. So the question is, what are we teaching without knowing it? So we're going to explore what is this hidden curriculum, what it means in care and education, and how our behaviour teaches emotional scripts, positive and negative. So often we hear people say, it's not do as I do, it's do as I say, but people will copy what they see, not what they're told. When we look at Behaviour's social learning theory, children and adults learn behaviours by observing role models. If they see calm, compassionate regulation, they'll copy it. If they see anger and inconsistency, they'll copy that too. I often refer to, when I put my fist through a wall as a child, when I was really angry, it's kind of because I saw my dad hitting inanimate objects when he was angry. So doesn't it make sense that I'd copy the same thing? When you're angry, do that. So that's what I copied. So we do learn from other people. I've mentioned this on numerous other podcasts as well, the importance of modeling and social learning. We can also look at those with disrupted behaviors when we're looking at trauma research. The adult response is the curriculum that children are learning when they're coming from traumatic backgrounds. We know that children exposed to negative facial expressions tend to have a higher degree of emotional connection to negative facial expression from then on in. We're always analysing the information in front of us, but if we're seeing a lot of angry people, then the models of the world is going to be very different from if we see lots of smiling faces. The people out there are telling us whether this world is good or bad, and one's saying the world is bad. The other seems to be saying the world is good. So even that modelling is telling people about the world around them. When we are calm, we are communicating that everything's safe. This is the importance of things like personal resilience and self-care that so many of us out there, whether parents, carers, we don't do right. And we need to be stricter with ourselves about our self-care. No more excuses about, I wish I had time, because you have to make the time to do it. You have to make it a priority. If you can find time to sleep and find time to eat, you should be finding time to self-care because it is as important. And that's the thing with this self-care principle, because if you're not okay, People are picking up on the clues around you that, hey, they're in a state of distress. That must mean there's danger. This isn't a conscious thing. They're not walking around going, oh, they're on edge. There must be a knife murderer somewhere around. It's a subconscious thing. There's some weird thing, like if we look at the sound of bird song can sometimes help people to feel calm. That's because once upon a time, when there was lots of birds singing and animals making noise, it probably meant there was no predators around, so it meant it was safe. We are always picking up on these nonverbal subtext in our environment to help us to navigate it and cope and understand it. So if we've got reactions around us, it can either reinforce kind of the concept that we're not okay, that we're not safe. Also, we need to understand that we've kind of mentioned there, mirror neurons in the brain fire when we watch others act. The way we understand facial expressions is we mirror those facial expressions. So they smile, we mirror that, and that creates this feedback loop in our brain to go, they're smiling, this is happy. And it helps us to empathize with others, helps us to develop an understanding of our own feelings. So it literally wires into us to copy behaviors that we witness. So this hidden curriculum isn't optional. It happens whether we want it to or not, whether we like it or not. The only question is, are we teaching what we should be teaching or what we want to be teaching? Let's think about this analytically. What can we do on a day-to-day basis? What do we do instead? Well, first off, we need to audit our responses and our actions. Sometimes we could be very good at controlling what we say, but if I'm saying, we have to understand that most communication is nonverbal. So if I'm going, it's all right, don't worry, take your time, no rush. It's very different from saying, no, don't worry about it, take your time, no rush. The tone, the fact I was looking at my watch, all of these things are communicating something completely differently to what I'm saying. So do you sigh when a child asks for help? Communicating that they're learning, my needs are annoying. I shouldn't have needs. People don't like it when I need any help. We know that's not a positive. Do you stay calm when someone shouts? To learn, anger doesn't always win. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't impact. It doesn't control them. Sometimes there's so much subtext in what we do. Think of like a conversation with the reactions that some caregivers give related to, let's say, the teachers at school. I can't believe they let you out in the rain, rather than, oh, they let you out in the rain? Did you end up getting wet? Or so straight away, what's the subtext that the child is being told when you're shaming and looking annoyed about the school? Well, why shouldn't children play in the rain? They're telling the school can't be trusted. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to look after you. This is subtext that's going on all the time. Another one I sometimes come across, so many parents do this when they point at the police and go, oh, look over there, careful, or they'll come and arrest you. Is that the message we want to be passing on? I know there's some negativity towards the police, and yes, there is bad police officers out there, but they're also the aim of most people don't join the police to be bad. They join the police because they want to help people. But you're giving this narrative to your children that they shouldn't be trusted. They're the ones who'll tell you off. They're the ones who'll punish you doing wrong. Going, hey, if you ever need help, if you're ever in trouble, if you're ever on your own and don't know where mummy is, that'd be a good person to go to. Hear the difference in the narrative? These are the things that we're saying all the time that people are absorbing into their psyche. Also, think about the narrative for those in elder care, like, oh, I think I'm losing it. Oh, losing my marbles. Even the things you see on birthday cards and stuff like that about ageism and ageist comment, that suddenly when people are getting older and they're starting to then experience living with dementia or get diagnosed with dementia, think about the stigma and shame that subtext has been told to them over a period of time. If you are engaging or if you are finding somebody's behavior challenging, then name the learning out loud. Turn reactions into lessons. I felt frustrated, so I took a breath before I answered. Explain what was going on internally if you wanted others to help to understand you. And this works for all ages as well, because sometimes we're not great at communication. There's one of the tools that I teach everybody when I'm teaching my courses. There's nothing related to behavior management. It's much more relationship based. Is when somebody comes to you upset, is ask the simple question. Do you want a hug? Do you want help? Or do you want to be heard? Because so often, we as human beings expect the other person to know what we want. You should have known I didn't want to be told what to do. I just wanted to be listened to. You should have known all I needed was a hug rather than just being ignored or listened to, but then you walk away. So tell them what you want. Hey, I need a hug. Hey, will you just listen to me for a minute? I don't need any help with this. I just want to vent. Or be good on the other side and ask the question. But explain it, because so often people need to understand. We tend to interpret behavior negatively and centralistically. So if I've got my arms folded, if I explain it's because I'm cold, that's going to feel different to the person if they're making the assumption going, oh, they're being defensive. Step 2 then is naming the learning out loud, explaining what you're recognizing in yourself, what you're noticing. So audit your response, step 1. Step 2, name it out loud. Step 3, boundaries. Align boundaries with compassion. Boundaries aren't just rules. They're lessons in safety. They're about keeping you safe. And therefore saying, I won't let you hit me, but I'm still here. If a child is trying to pull your hair when they're on your knee, then put them down and go, that's not okay. I'm still here and I still love you, but that's not okay. If somebody is hurting you, can go, I promise you I'm not trying to hurt you, but I can't have you hurt me. I'm moving away for a moment. Communicate what's going on in that moment. I want you to also think about building emotional literacy. For example, instead of saying, don't be silly, you're fine, try, I can see you're worried. That makes sense. Let's figure it out. So when you're seeing the reactions to your behavior, try and acknowledge them. Try and think about how you're responding. Think about the empathy. So we use our heart model, which is we hear them, we empathize, we align, we reassure or point out reality, and then we transition. So think about using that same model when it comes to helping to overcome this hidden curriculum. And also reflect as a team. What hidden curriculum are we teaching? Notice it in others. Are people using constant same reactions? Are you finding that people are doing things that always seem to be triggering worse behaviors, but they're never re-examining, they're never realizing what they're doing? So help people around you to learn, not critically, just go, hey, maybe we could try this instead. I know that seems a lot to think about and to be self-reflective on how you're coming across, the subtext that you're giving over whenever you interact. And I say, we can't be perfect, and I definitely don't get it all right all the time. We've all laughed when we shouldn't or sighed when we're annoyed, and it wasn't personal, but hey, maybe the person took it personally. But you're already teaching through your behavior anyway. Time isn't optional, but awareness is. But shouldn't kids know what's right from wrong? But where are they learning these subtexts from? They learn right from wrong by watching how we live it out. Saying it just isn't enough. If we're saying calm down, but we can't become ourselves, how are they supposed to learn? So I want you to think about or notice your hidden curriculum. What subtext, what messages are you sending out without really realizing you're sending them out? So instead of just reacting on autopilot, ask, what am I teaching right now? Because whether you're teaching somebody maths or personal care or life skills, your hidden curriculum is something they're picking up on all the time. So what hidden lessons do you think you learned as a child from a teacher, a parent, a carer? Is it a case of that look of disappointment on your parents' face when you didn't seem to get the score that they wanted you to get and you felt devastated in that moment by that reaction? That you felt that I'd let them down, and that meant, what's the point in trying if I just let them down that way? These are things we all have to learn about ourselves to be able to thrive, but also to try and avoid passing on the same mistakes over and over again. So thanks for joining me. If this episode makes you think differently about what you model every day, then please share it. Reflect on it, pass it on to somebody you think would benefit, because culture isn't built by policy, it's built by people. And the lesson that lasts the longest are the ones we didn't even know that we were teaching.